In this video, you'll learn the questions that you might be asked at your Florida workers' compensation deposition. This prep doesn't create an attorney-client relationship. If this is your first time to my channel, my name's Domenic Celeste, the virtual accident attorney. I'm based in Palm Beach County, Florida, and I represent those injured on the job in workers' compensation and due to the fault of another in personal injury. This channel is all about answering your questions and giving you tips relating to Florida workers' compensation and personal injury law. Now, before we get started, I have to show you this disclaimer, so just hold tight. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. If you haven't watched my previous video preparing you for your work comp deposition, go check that out before watching this video. Okay, so now that you've watched that video, this video will be similar in that it's just a general outline of the questions that you may be asked in your deposition. But again, because I don't know anything about you or your case, the questions that you may be asked vary depending on the specifics of your case and the work comp attorney asking you the questions. Generally though, these are the questions that I see most often in a work comp deposition. The first questions that you're asked are to get background information about you, like your name, date of birth, age, social security number, but make sure the court reporter only types down the last four numbers and not the whole thing. Your birthplace, places lived, highest level of education, your spouse, children's names and ages, licenses, vehicles, insurances, bills owed, whether you have any child support or alimony that you owe, receipt of benefits other than work comp, and your criminal history. Now there may be other questions, but these are the most common background questions. Then, after the work comp attorney is asked about your background, you'll typically be asked about everything that occurred before your accident. Usually, the attorney starts by asking about your work history. This can include every job that you've had in your entire life, the work that you've done over the past 15 years, or generally what you've done for work. But regardless of the time span, they usually ask about your employer, when you started, your position, your duties, how much you were paid, your supervisor, and when and why you left. The attorney may also ask you at this time, or maybe later, about your employment at the place where you got hurt, other employment you had concurrently, and employment you had after your work accident. You'll be asked the same questions here as you were when you're going over your prior work history, but you'll also be asked some more questions like your rate of pay, how many hours you worked, whether you filled out an employment application, did you get fringe benefits like insurances, were you ever written up, did you ever get promoted, and whether you were ever terminated. You'll next be asked the first of the two most important questions, and that is, have you ever had any previous or prior pains, injuries, complaints, or treatment to any body part at any point in time for whatever reason, whether work-related or not, or whether related to any of the body parts that you injured in your work accident. This includes obviously other prior work accidents, as well as motor vehicle accidents, slip or trip and falls, sports injuries, health problems, or diseases. Basically, anything that might be found in a record somewhere that you've seen a doctor for, you need to tell them about it, no matter how big or how small. I have another video coming out soon going over in way more detail and with examples the most important questions that you might be asked in your deposition. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to know when I release that. Then you'll be asked about your accident, including the date, what you were doing just prior to it, how the accident happened, were there any witnesses, what did you injure, and who you told about the accident and when. There may be more questions asked depending on any issues that are specific to your case though. After you're asked about your accident, you'll be asked about everything that occurred after your accident. Usually, you'll first be asked about your treatment, like what doctors have you seen, who are they, what have they done, what are they doing, and what are they recommending. Then you'll be asked about how you're doing now, like where are you still having pain, how often do you have that pain, what is it on a scale of 1 to 10, what type of pain do you have, are you having any new pain that you weren't having at the time of the accident? Then you'll be asked the second of the two most important questions. Is there anything that you cannot do as a result of your work-related injuries? Quick answer to that, there isn't anything that you can't do. Lastly, if you had any accidents or injuries after your work accident, you'll be asked about those at this time too. Now during the course of your deposition, you may also be asked about certain documents, like payroll records, your employment application, work comp forms, medical records, and other relevant documents. But I hope after watching this video, you're a little more familiar and comfortable with Florida work comp depositions and what you might be asked. As you can see, a lot goes into Florida workers' comp depositions, but how can you get prepared for it? Well, you can hire an attorney that's licensed to practice law in Florida and that handles workers' compensation cases, that represents real clients, goes to court, that knows what they're doing. And if you or someone you know were injured on the job or due to the fault of another, give me a call any time of the day or night. I have a 24/7, 365 receptionist, or you can go to my website to fill out an intake and schedule a free consultation. Or you know what? You can just text me. 561-935-3822. But that's it for this video. If you got value out of it or if you learned something, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. If you have a question, let me know in the comments below and I'll try and answer it. Like and follow me on all my socials to stay updated. And if you want to learn more about me, my firm, Florida work comp, or personal injury law, just go to my website, virtualaccidentattorney.com. Alright, so that's it for now. Again, my name's Domenic Celeste, the virtual accident attorney. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.